So before we get started, I want everybody to write this book down. How to Master the Art of Selling by Tom Hopkins. If you don't have that book, you need to get it. And if you have it, you need to read it again, because this whole training is going to be based on that book, basically, and everything else we know about our business. So, Shonda, I don't know if I have control over the screen. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So first of all, let's talk about mentality and why we need to be just learning these skill sets. So number one, when you go in the field, and this is coming from experience, when you learn how to overcome people's objections, and by the way, let me back up. What is an objection? Who knows what an objection is? Going once, going twice.
A request for more information.
Good job. Great job, Trishana. A request for more information. Objections are not something you should be scared of or be fearful of. They're just a request for more information. If somebody has a question or a concern and they're voicing it, that's actually a good thing. That means they are interested in some type of capacity, but it's up to you to answer that concern for them and address it. And as you learn how to answer those concerns more and more, whether it be about prospecting, we're talking about recruiting, QA objections, that's going to build your confidence and your competence. At the end of the day, when we help people make decisions, we help people in all different ways with their finances here. And if you're recruiting them, you help them change their life. I always tell people who don't want to recruit sometimes, and they're like, no, I don't want to recruit. And I say, why not? They say whatever they say. I said, listen, I understand what you feel. That's how I felt too. However, what I found was I just retired my mom last year. What if somebody never would have recruited me? My mom would have never retired. Think about that. So, was it good that somebody decided to recruit me? Of course. So, recruiting is a blessing. You help people in that capacity, not just their finances, but you also help yourself make money and your team make money. You guys know, or you may know, you should know, there's a difference between addition and compounding numbers here. Addition means you're doing the work, but when you teach other people on your teammates how to overcome objections as well, that compounds not just their cash, but your cash, because it trickles down the tier of leadership. You want to also set the expectations in the fast start, because a lot of overcoming objections comes also within the presentation. Sometimes you have to overcome objection, and it's better to overcome objections before they even come up. So Primerica is a self-development program with a nice, very nice compensation package attached to it. When you learn how to set the expectations in the fast start so that people know to show up, they give you permission to coach them, and they know they should communicate with you. It helps you overcome any objections when it comes to training that person. One day they may not feel like hearing from you, or even in the QA up front, so that people don't say, oh, I thought it was just for training. I didn't expect to do anything or do any business. Those are expectations that you set in the front end to overcome that objection that could come up later. So on top of the book, How to Master the Art of Selling, you also want to listen to Hector Lamarck, multi-million-dollar earner in our company. We call him the ghost of Primerica, because all he wanted to do was use Primerica to be free and not have to do any meetings ever again. But listen to Hector Lamarck overcoming objection every single day. What does it say on that screen? Every single day. Those people that get paid the most in business. Forget about Primerica. They get paid for what they do outside of the ring, not in the ring. Outside of the appointments, not in the appointment. What do I mean? When we were in cheerleading, me and Shug, we were co-captains, and we had like 140 cheers every single year to learn. 140 cheers, guys. That means you got to learn the dance, the movements, the counts, and really coordinate with your team. The words, you have to have rhythm and coordination. That's 140 cheers to learn throughout the whole year. I didn't just practice in practice. Shug didn't just practice in practice. We practiced outside of practice. And that's why we were the best trained cheerleaders. And then we put the 15-second timer on here, but we're probably not going to have time to go back and forth with everyone. But Chandel's going to kick us off really quick, or Josh is going to kick us off really quick. We're going to start from the beginning, because everything starts with prospecting, guys. If you're not prospecting, how are you going to build your inventory of names and numbers here, right? So give it up for Josh.
Okay, good morning, guys. If we could go to the next slide. So, prospecting is if an objection is nothing more than a request for more information, then prospecting is nothing more than having a conversation with a purpose behind it. And that could be for anything, when someone goes, oh, he just has he just has an agenda. He just wants something. That's why he's calling me or texting me or talking to me. And you're damn right. That is correct. 95% of the time, that is what I am, because I do want something. It just so happens that what I want literally coincides with improving your life, because all products and services that Primerica offers, all products and services improve our clients' lives. And the thing that improves a person's life the most is not even the products. It's our opportunity. What's better? Yeah, I mean, okay, so you give someone $500,000 of life insurance. That money only goes to their family if they die. And when they die, you set them up with a $500 a month pack. They'll only be able to withdraw that, without any penalties when they're 59 and a half. and it's not going to get to the millions until about that time. Then they'll be living off of that balance for the rest of their life. Eventually it will deplete down to zero and they will not be able to transfer down to their kids. But if I offer an opportunity to somebody, they can take it, run with it, and retire their mother, have kids, get married, and pass it to their generations to come. They can get they can get to a place it takes them 30 years to get to in an IRA or a mutual fund in 2 to 3 years max, if you do it right, without any distractions, with an opportunity. So prospecting is a mentality and how you, perceive what you're doing. Do you perceive yourself to be bothering people or improving their lives? So when you're prospecting out and about, which is the best way, in my opinion, doesn't have to be, that's just an opinion. Okay. I actually just did a meeting from somebody prospecting someone from LinkedIn the other day, right? I get referrals from lists, but prospecting out and about is fresh, meaning your face, your name is fresh in their mind. Okay. Do you have a card? But you're going to get objections. So you got to know how to answer those objections. Do you have a card? No, sorry. I don't carry cards anymore. Okay, look, I answer a different way right now during this pandemic. Leverage the environment that we've known. I don't actually heard of them. Yeah, everything I do is virtual. I'd see a need to carry cards anymore. But I can text you my number. Right? So, do you have a card? No, actually, have you ever heard of an app called Zoom? We've taken everything virtual, and to cut costs, we don't see a need to carry cards anymore. But I can text you my number, or no, I actually save my cards for my client. I can shoot you so that you have it. Is that fair enough? And you'll hear Shondell and Jen in their categories and their objections with a question. If you end a answer to an objection with a statement that will to them thinking, their question with an opinion coming from you. And when you say something, the other person tends to doubt it. But when you end the answer to an objection with a question, and they answer it with the answer you could have gave, but got them to give you. Can you guys hear me? Shondell, you can hear me okay? Okay. We're getting some backlash from others. Okay. So when you get them to answer an objection, get them to answer their own objection by ending the answer to their objection with a question, they're essentially answering their own objection, and they believe that to be true. A professional gets someone to basically an objection by asking the right questions at the end of their answer to the objection. I'll take your number. Actually, I don't really answer numbers that I don't know. Have you ever had like telemarketers call you? Isn't that the most annoying thing? Yeah, so the same thing happens to me. So what I'll do is I'll just share my info with you. I'll actually out and about, I'll show you, look, this is my cell phone, and there, that's cool with them that I'm sharing my cell phone with their cell phone. And then, later on in the week when you have a free moment, then we can chat a little bit more about the opportunity. So I don't have time. You don't have, okay, this is how I would answer. Okay, so just so I'm clear, let me get this straight. You don't have a lot of time, correct? Okay, and the next thing they'll say, sure, yeah, no, I don't have a lot of time. I say, how many hours a week do you give your job? 40 hours a week. And how often do you get paid? Twice a week. So you read 80 hours. You work 80 hours to get paid. Yes. Okay. So is 5 hours in 1 week a lot of time? Is that a lot of time? No. Okay. So most people that want a side income, something part-time, they'll do Uber, they'll work at the mall, they'll deliver for Amazon, they'll cut grass on the weekends, okay? And they put in 20 to 30 hours a week to get paid on the side. People in my firm earn what it takes most people full-time to earn in 80 hours in 5 hours. If I can teach you how to earn on the side in 5 hours what it takes you to earn at your full-time job, 80 hours, is that something that you would consider? Is that something you would be open to? Would you explore that? No, I'm just so busy. Okay, bye. Mike Shondell's husband told me about a show called Animaniacs, and there's a character that says, okay, bye-bye, I love you. That's what you do, right? I mean, there's only so many chances you can give somebody before you just move on to the next, but that's how I would dissect I don't have a lot of time, because they don't understand how this business works. This business is based on transactions, not hourly rates. And then what do you guys do? So I run a financial brokerage firm. We help our clients make, save, and invest money. But also, in addition to that, we're opening more offices all over the country because we have Zoom. Okay, we're opening offices all over the country. In the last 7-8 months, we've expanded into 15 states. What do you do?
We're gonna go into recruiting objections. Josh is gonna continue on here. So from prospecting, obviously we're gonna lead to calling the person, and then once we schedule a meeting, then we're going to have the interview or the follow-up after the 20-minute webinar or after Shaq's expansion webinar. And then usually when you go through that process, sometimes there'll be some objections when it gets down to getting the IBA or helping someone get started. So the first major one is I don't have the 124. So for example, Josh goes through an amazing follow-up with me, and I'm like, yeah, I'm interested. I would love to give the opportunity a shot on a part-time basis. But right now I just don't have the 124.
What is going on?
Can you hear me, Josh?
I'm so sorry. I don't know what's going on with the Wi-Fi, but you're coming in really choppy. Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, I'm super interested. I would love to pursue the opportunity on a part-time basis, but I just don't have the 124 right now.
Okay, so let me get this straight. You don't have the 124, correct?
Right. Not right now.
Okay. How long have you been working?
Like the last 7 years of my life.
7 of your life? Okay. And you don't have $124?
Not at the moment. I'm like really paycheck to paycheck.
Paycheck to paycheck. Okay. Okay. So would you say that not having the 124 is your problem?
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, I think the 124 is the solution. Because if you've been working for 7 years, you just haven't found the right income opportunity so that you can have at least $100 in your account. I believe that if you can get $124, we can solve that problem. But if there were 24 hours to get $124, okay, how would you do that? What are some creative outlets or ways that you would do that? Is there someone in particular that you would ask for a loan from? What would you do?
I don't really know if there's anybody that I could ask, to be honest.
There's not really anybody. Okay. Well, let's do this. You understand how scholarships work at when people go to college, correct?
Right.
Okay. So we offer something similar. Let me explain a little bit more on how our training bonus program works, and then I'll explain a little bit about that. So what I'll do is I'll actually kickstart your training a little bit here, and depending on how well it goes, we will actually cover your initial licensing fee. But we have to go on some training appointments. You have to do everything that our system calls for. You got to be coachable. And then we can actually make this happen. We'll give you a scholarship for the $124. Does that work for you, Shondell?
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay. All right. We'll take a look at that. Do you have take a pen and a paper out. We're going to play a game here really fast. It's called the 4-minute name game. Awesome. And then, yeah, so that, because what are you going to do? They can't ask anybody. I mean, I don't know if they're married, yeah, there's not much you can do.
Right. So here's another option that's on the slide as well for everybody else. So a lot of times I think, for example, like Jen or myself, I'm usually very assumptive. I don't really ask if they have the 124. And I know when I said the objection, he didn't ask me. I just went into it. But when you ask it, sometimes you can get a certain answer. And so here it says, don't ask, just say, when can you take care of the 124? If, for example, they say they don't have it. So for me, I may just say, they may say, oh, my next paycheck. Great. And then I'll explain what it takes care of. Hey, it takes care of your background check, study materials, business tools. Once you pass, the company will reimburse you for it. And then talk to them about how they can download the app, so on and so forth, once you get to that point. So awesome. We'll move on to the next one. Now we're still in the follow-up process from the interview or the webinar. And Jen, I think, is going to give me this objection, and then I'll explain it.
Yes. So yeah, I do have a question, Shondell. I know like we're supposed to be helping families, but how do we like find clients?
Well, so it's very straightforward. So during your training, Jen, I'm going to assist you with developing your market. It's my job to train you on how to develop your market in several different ways through tech and social media, also online marketing, and utilizing your warm market. So your warm market is just pretty much people that you may know. So at that point, we're going to kind of walk you through everything and help you learn how to be really good at getting referrals. So if somebody feels good about what we do, then they'll introduce us to others. Does that make sense?
Okay.
All right, awesome. So that's one very simple way to answer the question. Another way that I kind of answer it is a little bit more detailed, but it's pretty much the same thing. So go ahead, Jen.
So I'm kind of confused because do you guys help me find my clients, or where do you find your clients or leads?
Yeah, great question, Jen. So let's say, for example, you were to open up a business in general. Let's use a restaurant because everybody kind of knows that. And you had the grand opening to the restaurant. Who would you invite?
Like my family, my best friend, like probably people walking the street, but I would start with people that I know.
Okay, exactly, right? So everybody you would invite. And now, would you want them to eat at your restaurant every night?
I mean, no. I mean, they would be great, but no, I wouldn't expect it.
Yeah, exactly. So you just want them to kind of see your environment, how you take care of people, so they can see the environment, so they can see what it can do for you. And then what are they going to do after they really like the environment?
They could potentially tell somebody else.
Exactly. So when you start your training here, it's very similar. We're going to help you to go through your training presentations with us, where you're going to share that information with just a couple people that you know. And through that process, once they see what you're doing, don't you think they're going to know other people that need what we're helping families with?
Yeah.
Exactly. So my goal is to always get you 10 to 15 introductions from each of them. Now, when you finish your training, you'll have 100 to 150 people awaiting your phone call at that point. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Sounds great.
All right. Perfect. So that's typically kind of two options that we go through for finding your clients or leads. Now, the next one would be think about it or talk about it. So Jen, I think that you guys have a great company. I just want to think about a couple things really quick before I actually move forward.
Okay, great. I definitely understand that. That's how I felt. Obviously, you wouldn't take your time thinking it over unless you were seriously interested, would you?
Yeah, of course. I'm interested.
Great. Okay. So just to clarify my thinking, what is it that you wanted to think it over? Is it maybe the integrity of my company?
No, it's not that. It sounds like a great company.
Do you think it's maybe my personal integrity?
No, you're amazing.
Okay, great. Is it the time maybe?
I mean, you said it's only like 8 to 10 hours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I can fit that in.
Okay. So level with me really quick. Do you really think it's just probably just the money?
Yeah, to be honest, it's probably just the money. I just have to like figure out if I can fit that in my budget right now.
Okay, so you don't really have the 124 right now, is that right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let me ask you, I know that 124, obviously you have to cover it sooner than later because it covers your licensing. But when do you think you could get a hold of the 124 so that we can actually get you access to your studying?
Yeah, I could probably do that like on Monday, 2 days from now.
Okay, great. So what I can do is I can get you started with your orientation. At least you'll know what training will look like, blah, 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 right? And that's how you guys lead into that. But she said the money, so I thought it would be a good opportunity to do that. Okay, so what if Shondell says I have to talk to my spouse or parents first?
Yeah, so I'm super interested, but I want to talk to my husband first. I just want to see if he agrees with it before I move forward with like making a payment.
Okay, no problem. Of course, I definitely agree with that. I always meet with the spouse right away just to make sure they are in your corner. So at least we can take care of the paperwork to see if you can qualify to work with us. But once we go over everything with them, if they don't feel the same way or as excited as you right now, remember it's still refundable. So would you use a Visa or a Mastercard?
Uh yeah, Visa card is what I would use.
Okay, great. Now sometimes guys with that, I kind of do like I wouldn't call it like a takeaway, but I love doing semi takeaways, whatever you want to categorize it as. But when somebody says I want to talk to my spouse or my parents, I say that's a great idea because I was just going to ask you who makes decisions with you. We know that this is we're going to talk more a lot about business, but is your spouse or your parent, are they working in finance or do they run a business? Normally people say what?
No, they don't.
No. Okay. So a lot of this will probably be a little bit new to them as well. So who do you think could do a better job explaining this, you or me, about our company?
Yeah, definitely.
Right. But you have to get trained eventually to learn how to do it, right?
Right.
So what I'll do, what we can do is we can make sure they're in your corner and we can take care of the paperwork. That's fine. But even if they don't feel as excited as you are right now, then the 124 is still refundable. So then I just go into getting for the phone number and saying that could be used for their first field training appointment, right? And it'll be a dual idea. So you could use it for your first field training appointment, Shondell, especially assuming that your spouse or parent is going to agree with you moving forward with us. And that will already count towards one of your 10 field training appointments. Sounds good?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. So that's something I put in if they're kind of pushed back a little bit more, if I'm not able to get the MasterCard or Visa first.
Right.
Mhm.
All right. So this one is I don't have time. All right, Jen, I'm super excited. But I just don't know if I have enough time right now on my schedule.
I love this objection. Great. Well, I mean, how much time do you think you need?
Uh I mean, typical part-time, like I don't really know. I mean, like I work a full-time job and I'm also in school.
Got it. Got it. Is that the only thing as far as time? Is that the only thing keeping you from getting started?
Yeah, pretty much. I think everything else is good to go.
Oh, okay, great. So if you found the time, then you could definitely do this.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So let's break down your schedule really quick because if you don't have the time, then I agree. But if you do, then at least we can find it because you really are interested, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Great. So how many hours do you normally sleep a night?
Roughly like 6.
6 hours? Let's just say 7 hours. Okay. So that's 49 a week, right?
Right.
And how many hours do you normally work per week?
Uh, about 40.
40. Okay. And do you normally travel to work or do you work from home?
I work from home.
Okay. So you don't really have to travel to an office or anything normally.
No.
Okay. On average, you said you sleep about 7 hours a night. On average, how many hours do you spend time with maybe with your family that's non-negotiable to you a
Uh,
day or a week?
Probably like a couple hours a day, like 2 hours or so.
2 hours. Okay. So that's about 14 hours a week, right? And how many hours do you normally go to church, or unless you don't attend with church really?
Yeah, definitely. So church, let's call it on Sunday like 2 hours.
2 hours? Okay, let's just say three, just because some people they like to mingle with their church members, but I'm sure it's online now, right?
Yeah, yeah, it is.
And that's just once a week.
Yep, just once a week.
Okay,